Okay. Okay. I'm here. Oh, I was just trying to do somebody. Who's talking to me? Oh, there we go. Hi, relaxing waterfalls. How are you doing? So, hello, Tinglish. Well, yeah, that's great. Okay. Uh, it's been a bit. Why are you popping up over here? So, let's see where we are. Okay. I'm just getting things set up here. There, we got stuff set up. And I will jump in and let's. All right. Apologies for that. I got started a little bit late today because I was trying to follow some advice about how to set up my streams. And basically, after I did that, YouTube stream refused to work. So, I don't know what to do with that. Let's get my chat up. Okay. It's very, very annoying. Hi. Good morning. Hi. So we've made quite a lot of progress. So we've done nouns. Now we really won't get too far with nouns until we like have a bunch of them, like nouns and verbs. We've got our classifiers. We probably will do more with these as we go along. Mommy said we're going to Madison. Yeah, we will go to Madison today. Yeah. I don't know why it's so hard for me to stay in the place, in the bubble. Ugh. But yeah, that's how things are going. Okay, but prepositions, we're pretty solid on this. We might adjust things a little bit as we do the koine. Determiners we have figured out. So like the articles. Right. So we got the single demonstrative. Wishi. 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 Wish. Wishi. Wishi. I like the idea that this y is optional. It's an interesting touch. And then we've lost the oblique on this, but we have we've got definite article, indefinite article. Oh, this is for plurals. And then all of our numerals have been figured out. So I think that the only other thing I want to think about is constructions. And I'm actually going to jump back here because we forgot to do one very important one. And that is negation. Right? Now, very early on, if you'll remember, Carl Buck was in the chat and he said, "Hey, he said he would like the negative particle to be ba. And if Carl's going to make a specific request like that, then I think we can do that. But where exactly did it go? Um, a thought that I had early on was the idea that the different dialects could be at different stages in the Jesperson cycle, which if you know, hold on, I can, yeah, Jesperson cycle. Here it is illustrated with French. I think this is how it, so you have a negative particle. That negative particle gets reinforced by a second element, and then the second element becomes the new negative particle, right? Now, it doesn't have to go exactly like that. That's how it did in French. So, je ne dis, uh, je ne dis pas, et je dis pas, right? Um, right. Okay, English we had actually a pre-verbal negative particle, and then added not. Then not became the new negative particle. And then in modern day English, we actually do support pulled that negative up so that we are back to a pre-verbal negative particle. And I have thought of this language having something similar to do support. Not in the older version, not in Middle Fey, but like later on, because I just thought it would be neat. It's something that conlangers generally are going to avoid doing because it's very, very English, right? So do support. It occurs in English, and then there's a sort of kind of similar structure that happens in Welsh. In Welsh, there are alternative constructions of the the present tense and the past tense that use a dummy auxiliary, just like we have with like negation and stuff. And so, like some kind of a hybrid thing like that. In fact, we could even so with the way that our auxiliaries work, it kind of does lead itself because we wouldn't necessarily have to have exactly the same auxiliary that does it. We have several to choose from that could genericize, or we could make a new one that is from the start a generic auxiliary. Um, up in the verbs, we have the auxiliaries listed. We have, right, ka, ka, situ, kutach, and pukai are are our auxiliaries. We could probably make kutach become... we'd have to... we can take a look at what happened in the dialects and think about what we would make more generic. So let's go back. Let's go back to constructions and let's actually get the original negation construction. If we want to do this idea, what we would want to have is post-verbal particle ba. So what we would want it to have is we put ba after the verb. And so we get... to pull one of the examples, like... if... baik, ba. So very... This is... Bay... this is class... Have to... It's been a while. Yeah, class 3. And then with an auxiliary, we'll use kutach. So it would ifeik. Good. Tahik. Not 100% sure. Baik. And there we go. So instead of call and then negative, we would have walk 3. And so the walk is a habitual. So it would be the Faye does not usually call the deer. Something like that as a translation. If you negate a habitual, you get like it's like a not all the time, right? So let's see. So, when an auxiliary is present, the particle is after the auxiliary. It ends up between the auxiliary and the verb. Now that sets us up for the same situation that happens with English do support, where what happened was we have auxiliaries, the not particle followed auxiliaries, right? And um, and over time we developed this situation where we just put in a demi-auxiliary to carry that not, so that we never say the fae calls not the deer. We say the fae doesn't call the deer, right? So let's jump down to here and let's make a new section. We are not doing koineization yet. We're working on some constructions. And this should be heading 2? No. Just heading, right. Seems wrong. No, this definitely should be heading 2. And then this can be heading 3. Now, let's say in some dialects. Okay. We need to go to basic word order 2. We'll come back to that in a second here. Actually, let's say this, auxiliaries. And we're actually going to have more than one situation. So let's actually make a table. I don't know how many columns I'll need. Well, we'll do the columns for And our first thing, I'm going to jump back to verbs, and we're going to look at the auxiliaries. And what exactly has happened with the auxiliaries right now? So, at present, we can change this. But our current situation is that we have one auxiliary that actually reduced to a particle. So this auxiliary actually will also attach to other auxiliaries, right? We have, even night has had significant changes to auxiliaries. Like it's lost this cessative, right? And we have a habitual and an iterative. I'm thinking looking at what we already have, we'd have to kind of refigure things in order to figure out. So my thought is that a habitual is the most likely to become a, if we were choosing from these, that a habitual is the most likely to become this generic. I don't know if that's like, that's just my feeling. So it might not be as accurate. Um, but that's a thought. However, we could just come up with a new one. And so options for the meaning that could come up with that we could have for a new generic habitual. We could have do. You guys can throw out ideas. Do/make. We could have take. We could have hit. Let's see. Yeah, hit or strike. That's a good one. Kind of fits with like a single instance of something happening, right? What else could become like a generic auxiliary? We could have be. To be could be one, right? Or just a copula is super common. Let's go with those and let's do a poll. Who wants a poll? So a habitual can generalize into an imperfective or present, which kind of fits with my idea of it becoming generic because those are like also the most general um yeah, those are like the most general options, right? Another thing is, like, it doesn't have to be the same one for every one of them, right? So okay, before we do dice, where is my phone? Oh, it's right here, obviously. Let's. Hey, what's going on? Oh gosh, is it even doing it? Why is it crashing? Okay, so I can't do my dice cam the way I used to. Okay, I'm going to roll to see how many dialects are affected, and we will spread out from dawn and dusk. And okay. We're gonna do it this way. Oh, we're not gonna do just one. That's nonsense. 3 of them. 3 of them feels better. Well, Tanglish, I have a place to check for that. So I'm just gonna scroll through here, source target list, and do we have a habitual? Habitual. Okay. Okay, we don't have that. Let's go to the target source list. I can navigate this better. You not have an outline. So if I go to the what did you say? The imperfective? We have a lot of things that go to habitual. Imperfective, just progressive and stand is what World Lexicon of Grammaticalization goes to. Do they have gnomic anywhere? Gnomic is not listed. Future habitual, no. Let's see if gnomic is in here. F, G, get, give, go. Go to. Okay. So let's. So we have 3 languages that are affected by this. So insert rows below. I think actually I'm going to have them like this effect spreads from one out to the others. And so it didn't happen in winter. So keeping with winter, or I say winter, night. Keeping with night being conservative. So we're going to be, what was the one I was just thinking of? Give, I don't really want to do be. I just saw one and I just had an idea. Go. Go is one. You can go. Let's just take these and let's make a poll. So, you guys know how this works? What is our generic? What is the meaning? Our generic auxiliary. And is it going to be do or make? Take? Hit or strike? Be or go? And then we're going to make it a ranking poll. And randomize the initial order. And advanced settings will give you 10 minutes. I'll give you till 9 o'clock. I'm going to share this poll and post it. Should automatically post to both chats. And then you guys, I'll be looking at the results over here. Meanwhile, I'm going to generate. Now, is this the middle I think it is. Let's go generate 10 roots. Actually like I don't like these for this purpose. Keep it to one syllable, but one weird syllable is good. And let's open up. Let's just import day. Dawn. Dusk. Night. Okay, that's weird. Why is there an error here? What? What are you smoking? Why would you even count that? Go to T palatalization. First of all, I don't understand how this is happening. So at T palatalization, it should only be things that are not palatalized that become palatalized in the first place. What is going on here? Why it's like it's palatalizing the diacritic. This is a diacritic. try this again. Are you kidding me? Oh no. Okay, this is weird. Okay, how do I have the voiceless marking attached to vowels and this marking attached to consonants? I guess we have to... Is there a way to condition certain diacritics to certain things? Or do I have to do like a de-Romanizer? For IPA? That doesn't make any sense. It's very strange. There should be some way of restricting this to a certain class. Yeah, so we shouldn't have I've been having this problem with the multiple superscripts, and I'm just realizing that it is treating the H diacritic as its own thing. If I do it this way, okay, it doesn't allow me to do that. Oh, now it's doing this. Okay, that's silly. So what am I? How am I supposed to do this? Because like in IPA, this is for aspiration. This is for voiceless vowels. They are actually basically the same feature. If I take this out, that's the right syntax, right? And then why is it incomplete? What is this? 118 doesn't need to be... What... Okay, why is it... No, there's no way... You don't need to delete the H. This is incredibly strange. Okay, let me go... There surely has to be a way to just restrict diacritics.
Hey, Daddy, do you hear this?
Yeah. What's up? What's up with that? Yeah, I know. He's making funny sounds, huh? It looks like there is no way to force diacritics to only apply. There's no way for me to actually make this work appropriately while having the same features for both. Yeah, I mean it does need to be floating. So let's... How does de-romanizer? So the very first rule needs to be de-romanizer. And then if I... This is all the fault of the people who invented the IPA and did not realize that a voiceless vowel is the same phonetic articulation as, okay, I'm going to highlight all of this as aspiration. Now, we do this. The diacritic, huh? Okay, well, so do I have to, okay, T, okay. P, P. I should be able to do without these then. So K, T, T, retroflex T. No, IPA. Hi, what? Hey, what the heck? Oh, uh, so do voiceless vowels occur in, yes. I have sonorant devoicing. Why are you not highlighting inside there? H plus syllabic. Right. So here's the problem. Voiceless vowels actually occur. So here is my deal. Is that I had defined okay. Okay. I need to here's my problem. What I have to do is I need to go back for some reason, I removed this section from here thinking I didn't need it, but I actually do. So instead of defining the superscript h as a diacritic, I just have it as part of the character. And that should fix everything. Okay. Now that makes sense. And now I have to figure out, why is this... Oh, I'm so dumb. I don't need that. I don't need that. Because I'm being dumb about it. No. This is why I deleted that. This is why I... Okay. I'm going to... This constantly is happening to me. I copy-pasted the wrong thing. If you go from here, then you won't have that problem. Because the aspirates don't exist anymore. That was my problem. Now we're good. Okay, now, in the meantime, this previous poll has been done, and you guys decided it would be do or make. So, we just need to, we just need to apply that. So, let's go here. But we need to decide on the form. So, create another poll. And the best way I can think of to do this would be to go over here. Why copy what I'm copying? And we don't actually need the night version. Well, I'll I'll put the night version for completeness because it's probably still survives as its original meaning, right? And what I'm doing here is so this is the middle Fey form. This is day, dawn, dusk, night. And I'll give you 10 minutes for this one. So copy this. Hopefully that link works. Okay. Make sure to turn off the Bluetooth. Okay. Okay. So you guys got to remember and remind me that when something weird is going on with Lexergy, first thing to check is see if I actually copy pasted the correct forms. Because that's often what it is. Okay, so that should not be struck through. So we have but let's talk about how this is going to be used quickly. So let's so we're going to have negative constructions. And also full non-past and simple past. So I would say let's look at what we've got here. Verbs. Let's see. So, and actually if we go here and we look at, so we have perfective marking. Actually very weird. I think that it's weird for this to be different because we need a proper perfective more than we need an encodative. Um, we have perfective, habitual, iterative. I'm actually going to say this is imperfective. And what's going to happen is that it's going to look like a dummy because we would expect the imperfective to be unmarked. And if everybody's got a way of marking perfective and a way of marking imperfective, then that covers all verbs, especially if we have habitual and iterative in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because, like, a verb is going to be either perfective or imperfective. There's not, I mean, I guess if you have like a gnomic, then that might not be imperfective. But you can use an imperfective for that. So in this case, what's going to happen is the only verbs that occur without, and so we're going to have actually it's imperfective or dummy. And here's what's going to happen. Is, let's see, I had forgotten. We still have these tense marking, right? We still have this tense marking. So what happens is all of the tense marking gets attached to the auxiliary. So this is more than what a dummy, like a do support does in English. This is super wild. Okay, this is going to be a little bit crazy. No. This is not what's happening. Let me think here a second. Do I want to restrict the dummy? No. So we can do, in some dialects, all tense information, tense and aspect information has been shifted onto the auxiliaries to the point that only to the point that all verbs now require a dummy auxiliary if none of the aspect linked auxiliaries apply. There we go. Now we've got this. And then what did we say? Okay. Dawn and dusk have fully shifted to VSO word order. While day and night can still insert the subject between the auxiliary and the matrix verb. Okay, I'm just gonna put that in prose. We can add examples later, and then that's gonna mean the subject can always be fronted for focus. It is kind of do support, but it's different. So the difference here, if English were like that, if English were like this, let's talk about how English is now. So for English, you need do support in two situations. You need do support if you're asking a question. So let's say, I saw a dude, right? If I'm, did I see a dude? You cannot, you don't say, saw I a dude, unless you're trying to be archaic. Also, I didn't see a dude. You don't say, I saw not a dude. People used to say that. It's not common anymore. If English were like this, let's talk about I see a dude. These would probably be like the same. However, if English were like this, these languages, these dialects are going to say, no, you can't encode tense and aspect information on the main verb at all. Because if you remember, we had the main verb agreeing with the auxiliary taking the tense and aspect information. And now, with this new rule, what you would have to have is, I do see a dude, I did see a dude. So this is the difference between these Fey dialects and what English does. Is these Fey dialects have actually shifted over to just always requiring the auxiliary regardless of the construction. And also I don't know if I'm going to do I don't know if I'm do a clitization like English does. We can think about that. I think actually it's better in this situation if the negation stays a full particle and maybe even gets enhanced rather than seeing it like cliticize, because if we're having the auxiliary all the time, then we're having crazy. This is just a brainwave I had. This is how these things go, and this is so. By the way, our voting has closed, and you guys, well, I mean, of the people who voted, it was unanimous. So I'm going to Actually, I just don't need to. And I'm going to also put it up in the verbs. So it was the. So this just did not happen for the night dialect. It just stayed the way it was. So this takes care of a lot of things. So and I'm sure that if you like looked, you can find antidote for this. Um, there are languages that have like a very small number of verbs that will work a little bit like this. Okay. So like if we take one of our examples from here. Yeah. So let's go here. So if we just have the Fae calls the deer, right? Okay, I need to have all of these parts. Ah, doesn't like me capitalizing things. I forgot. Okay. We have the. Okay, we have a definite article now. Let's sort that. Article. And actually, this should be. Switch to Sylvan. Do I have all of the forms listed out? Why do we not have middle Fey forms? Oh, middle face, middle Sylvan. Okay. So this is animate, so it should be the oblique form that gets used. And then for these ones, what I need to know is this to peak. Oh, I know. So all right. So you share so in night you don't have that, but then in let's just put the dusk one there. And I can adjust things a little bit to Xiafei 非遗十一比八九的去标的去 yeah. So that's we're having to insert this into there in order to carry the tense information. This is going to be really interesting. I'm going to have to work up all of the paradigms for these all of these auxiliaries in particular, and then all of the other verbs except in the night dialect. In the night dialect, the verbs will have a whole big list. But in the other dialects, the verbs will only have the agreement marking. So they will have significantly smaller templates. Whereas all of the TAM marking stuff gets shoved onto the auxiliary. It's gonna be wild. But we will have our mutations. And I think that's something that I'm going to work on a little bit next time. Um, we need thinking a little bit. Okay, so in terms of constructions, what else do we have? So, I mean, negation is going to change, but everything's going to change. Please do not advertise that. Okay. The possession. I don't see a real need. Okay. We're going to have to think about actually. Are we using this? Oh, I have the classifier going after the possessee. And then the possessor is in oblique form. I think we can still say that. So, actually, I need to go here because, um, let's do one more note. Let's go talk about this possession because I think I can knock that out real quick. No, it should be heading 3. Okay. For animates, the possession structure is the same. Following the middle bay structure, though they may choose different classifiers. And let's go back up there. Let's go to possession. Right. However, for an inanimate possessor, we must instead choose a preposition to introduce. However, inanimate possessors introduced with a preposition. And let's look at our prepositions. Options for prepositions. We have from or of. Okay, going to be very simple. Very simple. Day and dawn use descendants of, and dusk and night use descendants of. P. And I'll come up with some examples for that later. I think it's really time that I need to be wrapping up a little bit. But we have some stuff here. There's a lot of like documentation work that I need to be doing. A lot of in order to get my dictionary up to date. And let's see. I think next time. Oh, we got negation, possession, auxiliaries. We've taken care of all of that. Figure out maybe what happens with the passive and anti-passive. With property words, probably won't change too much. Nominal predication. Nominal predication can probably stay the same, except this will become accusative. Locational property. This is not going to be a thing anymore. Like the locative form is not going to be a thing anymore. Comparative constructions. We're going to have like a choice between the two of these. Subordinate clause. We have to nominalize the verb. Okay. Complements. Okay, yeah, so I was thinking of the subordinate clauses as being so what class is this nominalized verb? I'm guessing it's just gonna stay inanimate. That makes the most sense. And then complement clauses, resultative clauses. Okay, I didn't actually like flesh that out. So our politeness system is actually going to use the classifiers if we actually do it. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I'm going to save a copy, save it as a PDF. 2025. 8.2. Save. And we're going to be putting that up on the Patreon. Yeah, so that's it for today. Let me just get this up for patrons. Patreon.com/conlangery. If you want to, I am putting up all of the Notes for 25.8.2. Okay. Here are the Sylvan notes for August 2nd, 2025. We did some work on how auxiliary instructions and possessive instructions change in the dialect split page. And then I need to, how do I do the attachment? Oh, paid access should be before that. Attachments. Okay, Sylvan. Open. Okay. Tongues and runes. Okay. So that should be up for patrons. Now, before I go, be watching out as we are going to have we're going to have the YouTube Conlang relay is coming up soon. We have not scheduled that yet. The reveal, and well, that's all I have coming up. So I don't know when exactly that's going to come out. It depends on when everybody gets their videos done. But keep an eye out for that. I'm going to head out now. Everybody have a great day and happy conlaying.